Well, hello, Buster and Uncle Al, TM, and Ken. And Andy isn't back from last night yet. TM, what I give the rabbits is sticks of wood. Hello, David. Sticks of wood and pellets. We have a surprise guest trying to come on right now, and we're waiting for him to show up. Hello, Brad. He's going to be a little bit slow because he's using a hotspot instead of internet. Hello, Laura and Nikki. And there's the drunken chef. Hello, Ace. We're kind of waiting for our special guest to make it in. With my daughter, it was wonderful. Lasted a lot longer than I thought it would, too. Ah, looks like he's starting to show up now. There we go. Hello, Colin.
All right. What is up? Hold on. I'm trying to get this going over here. Hold on. Thank you for your patience.
Okay, give me 1 minute here. Ken Brown, double check on your subscription that you selected all. But because I did the notification yesterday morning. Okay. Colin, would you like to tell everybody your channel name?
Yes, I would. First of all, I am sorry I am late. I've been having it's been a busy day and also getting this set up. You've been super patient, Verna. I appreciate your help. Still working on trying to get this stream to followers of our channel. And yeah, the name of our channel is Holistic Heritage Homestead. And I think that we've got a lot of the same supporters, at least some of the same supporters. We definitely have some of the same community, which is super cool.
Are you in my room as well as your own room?
I am in yours right now. I'm trying to get mine going. I
Okay,
think I'm in the process of doing
type in exclamation point and the word quail, so everybody can get a link to your
Oh.
room.
Cool. Pretty cool. Let me hold on. I'm having some issues here. Exclamation point, quail. All right.
Oh, you typed it in private. You didn't type it into the room.
Oh. All right.
You have to hit up where it says comments.
Hold on. I'm trying. Okay. Comments. There we go.
Hello, Dawn.
All right. It's asking me to connect the account. Hold on.
Yeah, you have to connect your YouTube account.
Gotcha. Yeah, we live in a rural place, and we chose
Okay.
down a little bit. The stream light. Okay. Seems like the internet is working all right. It could be just my ignorance to set this up. All right. Okay. Just waiting on that. All right. Let's try it now. Here we go. See if that works. All right.
Yep, there you go.
Thank you, Verna. And now I'm going to try to resume streaming this to our audience. Let's get this going. Okay.
Well, TM, Lucy tried to go after a mole today, and I had to stop her.
Your dog is Lucy, I'm assuming? Or a cat?
Correct. And my dog is Lucy,
Oh, okay.
and she hunts moles. She hunts those moles
Really?
on the ground varmint. She can hear them. She can pull them right out of the ground.
No. She gets them?
She gets them.
Wow. Now, does she eat them or she just kill them?
She just kills them.
Okay. Well, interesting. It's giving me some messages here saying log in with Google. No account exists with that email. I don't know how it's possible. Just sign in.
You're breaking up. I couldn't understand you.
Yeah, it says log with Google or log in with one working, but it says now it's saying choose an account, choose the account. By continuing, continue. All right. Hopefully this works. No account exists. That email or continue with email. Well, I'm assuming the email should work considering I am here doing this now and I have a Gmail account. I would say obviously do not understand why this is not working. No idea. Log in with Google.
You have to click the YouTube button. There should be.
No, I don't see anything about YouTube button. I just clicked on the stream this to your audience, and then I'm following the prompts or whatever it's called, and this is nothing's working.
Yeah.
Just log into your account. No account exists with that email as far as Google, and then or continue with email, and that's not working either. So why would that not
Well,
work if I?
well, I tell you what. You see down below where it says present.
Yes.
You can show me your screen, and I can walk you through it. We can pull it up, and I can walk you through it.
Cool. Share screen.
Share screen, present, share screen, and then you click on the tab that you're looking at.
Okay.
Please have patience, dear. We are working together to expand people's horizons.
Yes. How do I do this?
Right down below where it says present.
Yeah, I got that. I'm saying it says choose what to share with StreamYard. Am I choosing to share StreamYard or I think just StreamYard, right? For the YouTube
Your
one.
StreamYard, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, and it'll come up to where I can see it, and then I'll.
Okay.
It isn't showing me yet. Are you frozen, Colin? Yep. Laura, that sounded delicious. Yeah, TM, you need to get some quail first and raise them up. Hey, Colin, you going to try to come back up? Tim, why haven't you got any quail yet? Didn't you order hatching eggs yet? Hello, Joseph. You're very appreciated, Uncle Al. It's kind of slow because, oh, there's Colin. He's back again.
All right.
Hello, Colin. There.
Get this going, some content. Okay.
You may be
Screen,
having problems because of your bandwidth.
no idea. Well,
Oops. He's having some problems. Well, yeah, turn the camera off for a minute because you don't want to be doing what children shouldn't see. Now, I'm going to ask, what have everybody got planned today for this coming week? David says he has 7 days left before lockdown. Getting excited. Woohoo! David, good luck and happy hatching. Oh, Dennis. I mean, Joseph, Dennis is not a good place to have to go to. And Uncle Al, good luck with the doctor's office. Welcome back, Colin.
all right. Thank you. Thank you. So I'm just going to perhaps another time try to figure out how to stream this, stream this, however I should say this, to our audience as well. I just want to focus on your awesome audience and just get some content out here and get some information going. Okay.
Well, David's got a week until his eggs go into lockdown. One thing I
His
would like to
eggs?
ask you, Colin. Yep,
Sure.
his quail eggs. Is how did you come up
Okay.
with holistic? How did you come up with your YouTube name? Holistic Heritage Homestead.
Yeah, that's okay. I actually I think my wife came up with the name and I just agreed because I thought it was just great because it kind
Uh-oh.
of life
froze
in
up again.
general and homesteading for sure. Hold on, let me see. And can you hear me, Verna?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. So yeah, it was kind of a breaking. So holistic being the broad empirical approach, connected. Everything we do in life affects another thing in lives. So I feel that it's the only holistically. The only way to go is to think broad and think about how, why we're doing things. Like, for example, food production. Food can keep us healthier. We play for
You're breaking up.
So we do try to with what we think God would want us to do.
Uh-huh.
Are we following God's laws? Are we working with nature and not against nature? Are we being moral? Are we doing the right thing or right things? So that's kind of like the holistic approach. Is everything we do, we try to have a think about more than one thing. When we're gardening, we're not just thinking about growing food. We're thinking about how can we improve the environment around us? How can we save money? So there's a financial component there. Everything we do has more than one thought behind it, and it's broad. Heritage is a broad concept, the word, in the sense that everything that we know we've learned from the ancestors, from the elders, from people that came before us. And the goal is to pass on information. My wife and I, we have 2 sons. So we're going to pass on our knowledge, our information to them, and also other people. And we think it's important that the ways of the ancestors continue, that they get passed on, and they're not lost, because there's so much information there, and I think it's important. And homestead, because we homestead, and we use that term loosely to mean we simply try to move towards self-reliance and self-sufficiency. The word homestead or homesteading, I think, has taken on a different connotation over the years, where 50 years ago, homesteading meant you moved out, you moved off grid, and you built a home with your hands and whatever. And I don't think it really means that, as far as what most people, the connotation, I don't think means that anymore. Homesteading is pretty much anybody, anywhere, any people, anywhere, who try to take more control of their lives, produce their own food. That's a big part of it, and try to be resourceful and creative. That's what I think. So we just kind of, my wife put those 3 things together, and I think it's great. It has the alliteration factor because the triple H thing. So yeah, that's why our channel is named Holistic Heritage Homestead.
That is great.
Cool.
Okay.
Thank you.
Nikki's got Short Pickens Quail, which is Nikki, says we got new internet installed today. So far, it's working great. It's a satellite, so I'm sure there will be a few issues, but hopefully no more everyday issues.
Okay. Okay. Well, we're here in rural America, and we have honestly, by choice, to save money, and also we have certain beliefs about the internet and the electromagnetic fields and whatnot. We chose not to have internet in our home. We did have a hotspot kind of a thing, like a mobile internet thing in the past, but everything's very expensive nowadays, so we kind of just trim that off, and we think it's probably better for our health for a reason or reasons. Hey, to each their own. If you folks have internet, I'm not knocking you for doing that or anything. We still are surrounded by, whatever anyways. And right now I'm using a hotspot, so I understand what it's like to not have internet. So on our phones, we have unlimited data, and that seems to be more than enough to do everything we want to do, because for the most part, everything we do is on our phones.
Hello, CB and Bev. Welcome to the
Huga
chat.
Homestead. What's up, Huga
Yeah,
Homestead? Die Bullfrog. I said hello before. Just wanted to say hello again, just in case you did not know. So hello, Die Bullfrog. I hope you're healing well, Die Bullfrog. I hope, I think you had surgery recently. I hope you're doing well and recovering well from that. This is cool. Very cool. Very cool. Got a good group. I think 10 people in here right now, or 10 channels. That's awesome. Very cool. And part of my channels might not remember. So.
What kind of animals do you have on your homestead?
We have rabbits, we have chickens, and we have pigs, and we want to have all the animals. Time, resources, and limited. Just going slowly, add more animals on.
Hmm.
That's why we need internet because no cell
Yeah,
service without either. Okay. Our cell service is okay. Some really bad for the most part. It's usually pretty good actually. But yeah, middle of nowhere is a nice place to be, in my opinion. Pros and
yeah. I'm in
cons.
a
Some people could look at it that way.
I'm in a small
Yeah.
town and in an apartment
Okay. Okay.
doing
Okay.
everything.
Yeah, which is awesome. Which is awesome. And I feel that really I've just been impressed with you, Verna, since I first like started hearing about what you do. I've just been very impressed because I think arguably now more than ever, for a certain reason or reasons, I think it's more probably arguably more important now than ever before for people to really move towards self-reliance. And that doesn't have to be full steam ahead. That could be in any situation, urban situation, suburban situation, they live somewhere rural, doing something. That could be growing herbs on your kitchen windowsill. That could be uh, anything, having livestock in your garage. Um, there's so many different ways of doing it, and I've just been really impressed with you, Verna, because you do it. You make it happen, and I think that that's like a great example to people who are on the fence and like, oh, I don't know, I don't have the time, I don't have this, I don't have that, I don't have the space. They do. They absolutely do, and they can. They can do things. When we lived back in
Uh,
New York, we grew a massive amount of food in containers, a massive amount, and we had little to no yard, so it's possible.
yeah, I use green stalks, which are vertical gardening, and pots.
Great, that's great.
And I'm
Green
getting
stalks are
ready.
really cool.
And this weekend, I'll be starting seeds for my green stalks, so I don't have to go buy them this year. So I don't have to go
Starting
buy the
seeds for
plants.
what?
Oh,
Oh
for my
yeah,
green
that's great.
stalks, so I don't have to go buy the plants.
That's great. That's great. I'm a big fan of starting from seeds. It's more affordable. Starting from plants is real nice, though. You get good, it's just it's really nice, and definitely you can get some strong plants. But I find that at least maybe the past few years, I just feel like the prices for starter plants are just gone up. Like it used to be like maybe $1.50 to $2.50, maybe $3. Now it's like $2.50 to like $5 for
No, no,
small
now it's
starter.
like it's $5 to $9 for the plants now.
I was going to say, I was thinking at some point that maybe it's even more expensive. So, I mean, seeds definitely take time, definitely take an investment of energy and all of that. But it's just so much. You can save a tremendous amount of money, though. Tremendous amount of money. I do like the idea, and I would say I almost always or have always bought some plants because there's only so much people can do in so much time. So when I'm delayed and I'm like behind schedule and I'm like, oh, it's too late for me to plant whatever seed, if I can get a plant that's already been growing, I can kind of not be, I could still have a chance, still have a chance. Um, so yeah, I mean, I like the idea of getting some plants sometimes, but they're so expensive. They're so expensive. And we actually this year are looking to sell some starter plants of our own because often I'll plant so many seeds and I actually run out of space and time to really get them in the ground or get them in a container. So I expect to have a surplus of some and I'd like to just sell them for hopefully cheaper than the stores and
Uh,
make a few bucks.
oh yeah.
David Bringleson or Brengleson, pardon my pronunciation. We have New Zealand and Californian rabbits. I believe they're New Zealand and Californian, perhaps a cross for the breeding pair. And then their offspring are definitely New Zealand and Californian. The chickens, we have Buff Orpingtons, Rhode Island Reds, Black Australorps, and Plymouth Barred Rocks. And I did a lot of research on the chickens, and I am very, very happy with those breed choices. And in my opinion, for what our goals are, they're the best breeds you can get. I am open to learning about some other breeds. I do like heritage breed for laying. I think they're just tough, strong, resilient birds. They can handle the heat. They can handle the cold. They still have a broodiness capability in their genetics. They can still be broody. So I really am a big fan of those chickens. Big fan.
Now we got to get you interested in quail.
I am. I am very interested in quail. Very, very interested in quail. And I want to do it. I feel like it's going to be one of those things where it's like it just happens. I just do it and just get it going. I mean, yeah, that's probably Die Bullfrog writes, try Domino breed. All right, cool. Thanks, Die Bullfrog. I'll definitely look into that. Are you talking about rabbits or chickens? I'll look it up and figure it out. But black Australorps are my favorite chickens. They're definitely up there. I'm not sure which one's my favorite, but possibly black Australorps. There's a gentleman, I forget his name. I believe he's in Vermont, and he runs a composting business. And he apparently feeds little to no food to his animals. He just gives them scraps. And he has a massive business, a successful business. And I think he said he likes black Australorps because they're a large bird. For like a dual purpose heritage breed bird, I think the larger their body mass, they're bigger, so they can scratch really well. And I think that might help his composting system. I've also heard, and I don't know if this is true, that being that black Australorps are black, they keep away predator birds because they think that they're ravens or crows or something. I don't know if that's true. I've never had any predator pressure from the air that I've noticed. So who knows? Maybe the black Australorps being black is helping out our chickens. Chicken Civil War breed. Cool, Die Bullfrog. I'll definitely look
That's
into
what
that. Thank you.
that's what the Domino breed is.
Very cool. Interested. I like looking up and learning different breeds and stuff like that. And there's so many out there. I've recently been introduced to the idea of I believe it's called the American freedom birds,
Brassica,
or there's what are they called?
American Brassica.
American breast.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've
they're
heard they're like
they're
good meat birds.
they have big breasts. They're a good
Hmm.
meat bird, but they also good at laying eggs. So
Yeah.
unlike the Cornish cross hens, the
Hmm.
brassicas will actually breed, and they're not heavy enough that they're gonna break their legs.
See, that sounds awesome because from what I think I might have even seen a video, is they also forage. So if they have access,
Yeah,
they'll actually forage. It's still in their genetics and their instincts to actually forage. And it's cool because, like you said, you can get good meat, which I think if you get more than a dual purpose. Like our birds are dual purpose heritage breeds, but they're still not going to give as much meat as maybe, especially in ratio to the skeleton or whatever body frame, as like Cornish crosses. But I've heard those what are they called? The American breast or red breast, what are they called?
American breasts.
American breast. I've heard that, yeah, you get the meat, they produce a good amount of meat, and they lay and they forage, and they sound like an awesome breed.
Yeah, and according to Uncle L, the Dominoes are great foragers, medium layers, and disease proof.
Hey, that's awesome. That's awesome. That's very cool. Yeah, so that's a good consideration too. I liked also the genetic diversity. We've only sadly over the past 3 or 4 years we've lost some chickens. Um, Different reasons, random things. Sometimes things happen. I don't even know. A chicken just like I think one time got egg bound, so that's something that happens. And showing up and seeing a chicken just ripped to shreds, and I'm like, some predator must have got to them somehow, even though we have a pretty secure setup for them. One I think got caught in the fence. Its leg got caught in a fence, and it just ended up dying. But there's different things. My mother was helping us take care of the chickens, and my mother's awesome, and she helps, and I'm appreciative of her help. But sometimes other people don't take care of our animals the way that we would take care of our animals. So maybe didn't
Exactly.
put in the extra energy and love and Unfortunately, there were some losses there. So yeah, I mean, we've lost some chickens over the years, but we have hatched out some of our own, and I believe we got one or more, not many that are actually hybrids. And my goal is to, and I'm learning a lot about breeding. I have much to learn about breeding. Is we're going to be doing, from my understanding, the straight line or linear breeding method is just let them breed, cull the ones that don't have the good genetics, let the other ones continue breeding, even if it's inbreeding, and kind of come up with our own breed. Because if we could do that, I mean, they might not actually be labeled as a unique breed, but our own holistic heritage homestead breed that could be a mix of those four aforementioned breeds, and maybe who knows, maybe the domino ones, maybe the silky ones like you mentioned to me, I believe it was yesterday. Maybe incorporate
Hmm.
the American red breast or whatever they're called. Yeah, I mean, I
It's
think
just
that would be
American
awesome.
breast.
American breast. I'll remember that at some point. And yeah, that'd be really cool. I think to have like a nice hybrid. And perhaps if the hybrid vigor theory is true, hopefully they'll have some great genetics that'll be custom designed to survive here on our homestead with the setup they have. And I think that'd be really cool, really cool. And also they're beautiful birds. I think I really think chickens are just cool looking, but the breeds we have I think are particularly beautiful. And a couple of the crosses that we have, like one of our roosters, he's just beautiful. He is super cool looking, and one of our hens, super unique, cool look. When you kind of cross them like that, they can look super cool.
Uncle Al says, careful.
Careful, careful with what is that? Short
I think
Pickens
coming up
Quail
with your
writes, I
old
got
breed.
air predators, but have not lost any chickens to them. Hey, that's good. That's
That's
good.
because she's got the black Orpingtons.
Maybe they're preventing the those predators from going crazy and doing their thing. True on blackbirds. I flew pigeons for many years, and the dark pigeons got attacked less by hawks. Super interesting. Super interesting. You may get mutant mules and weak birds. Okay, good to know. Good to know. Yeah, I have a lot to learn about breeding, and it can get very complex. Like the breeding of the chickens, I'm sure, like all animals, is it's a science into itself. There's so much to it. Hopefully, with the observation and the culling component or components, I would be able to prevent that from happening.
Yeah, because
And they would end up
you
in
call
in
them
our food.
you call the mules and the weak birds,
Mhm.
and the mutants that have traits that you don't want. Now, if it's a mutant trait with something that's good, that's a different story.
Sure, sure,
Hello,
sure.
Anka.
Gardening with Enku, what's up? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yeah, I would probably not do, and I pardon my ignorance, I'm not sure if it's called a linear method, but I think there's something to that, or straight line method or whatever. I might be thinking of accounting straight line method. I would still introduce outside genetics. Some people say be careful about doing that. So there's two schools of thought there. They say be very careful about introducing outside genetics because you could have something good going with your breeding, introduce some unwanted genetics, then have some problems. So at the end of the day, I think
But
with
then,
either
but then,
one, yeah,
you know,
I think the
with
genetic
birds,
diversity would be good. I think the genetic diversity would be good to have from introducing outside genetics. And I would do that because we have done that. But I think at the end of the day, whatever you're doing, if you're constantly separating and keeping, the inbreeding coefficient down and doing that, then you could actually lose some good traits and you still have to observe and cull. If you're just letting them breed and observing and culling, you're still going to have to observe and cull.
this is Colin from Holistic Heritage Homestead.
Feathered Feathered Connections. Maybe that's how I should read that. Welcome, Feathered Connections or Feathered Connections Homestead. Welcome,
Yeah,
welcome, welcome.
it's
I am Colin. I am
feather
from Holistic
connections. Yeah.
Heritage Homestead. Buster, hello. S.O. Swanson. Just select your breeder carefully for outside and not just anything from anyone. That's a great point. That's a great point, and excellent point actually. And I'm guilty of just doing some research, Googling, and taking what's available. I might look up reviews and stuff like that, but I probably should do more research and try to find people that are knowledgeable and passionate about breeding. That's a very good point. Oh crap, genetics.
Sounds like drama. Oh
Oh
no,
no,
sounds like
sounds like
drama.
drama.
Hope not. Kelly, Kelly
Yeah,
Connect,
I just want them to be.
that who Feather Connection is,
Yeah,
and
happy birds.
you know,
NPIP certified eggs. Recommend you check out Short Pickens Quails.
Yep.
Okay. Very, very cool. Yeah, I'm so
If
interested.
you watch, if
The
you watch
quail.
my Nightbot,
I really want quail.
yeah, my Nightbot will tell you all the certified farms that I suggest.
Awesome. Awesome. As far as our chickens go, changes are going to be happening. We are going to go with 4 breeds. That's
Now
for breeds.
See, Bradley
I
is
do
the other
recommend some
half
diversity.
of Bradley's the other half of Short Pickens Quail.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. See, with quail, I know nothing about breeds. I've heard of some names of breeds, I think, over the years or whatever, but I have a lot to learn when it comes to quail. I'm excited to get quail. There's some benefits to quail. I do feel like for us, this is my opinion here, which I'm full of, we've already got a bird. We have chickens. So there might be some redundancy. However, I like that quail lay eggs quickly and they're ready for processing quickly. So there's some benefits there. I also like I like eating everything. So like quail, I really enjoy quail. I think it's delicious meat. But for us, it might be a better investment to get. I would think of ducks because I like fat and I love duck meat more than chicken. Probably more than quail too. And I like that ducks have fat on them. So from a caloric intake, from a flavor thing, from a survival prepping perspective. However, Verna, I saw your quail. You actually got some fat on your quail. That was cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's cool. All right. Later,
Yeah,
folks. Later,
I
Vase
have
and
a
Colin.
whole.
Later, Die
I have.
Bullfrog. Thank you so much for hanging out. Thanks for the information too. Feather Connections Homestead. Verna processed my first Muscovy duck yesterday, eating it tomorrow. If you like the meat, we'll switch over to Muscovy for meat.
Oh, wait a minute.
Versus
Yeah, no.
thinking of raising meat chickens. Obviously, the quail stay here. That is awesome, and I really wish I had some ducks. Oh, that duck is so delicious. As far as like, I guess poultry, I should say, probably my favorite meat. Duck breast, forget about it. Roasted duck.
Now I'm going to show you something, Colin. That's what I'm in the kitchen getting some eggs to show you.
Okay. All right. More nutritional value than chicken eggs, you're saying? I might have heard that. I've heard different. One of the things I think that's a benefit of having different types of animals, yeah, is that there's different allergies. So some people that might have chicken eggs, they can be allergic to a component or components of eggs, actually not be allergic to quail eggs. And I think I read, and I'm not sure about this, I think I read that eating quail eggs can actually help people reduce or get rid of their allergy to chicken eggs. That I'm not sure about. That was something I think I read quickly. But definitely I know that people that are allergic to chicken eggs might not be allergic to quail eggs. So that's cool. As far as nutrition, I think there might be different nutritional profiles. I'm not sure if it's necessarily better.
Well, quail have more of the vitamin B complex than chicken does.
Awesome. Awesome.
Okay, here's one egg. Here's about a standard egg.
Okay.
And this is one of my larger eggs. It's not the largest,
Wow.
but it's one of my larger eggs. My
Cool.
the
That's
largest
cool.
one I got is about the size of a silky egg.
The silky. Oh, no, the largest is about the size of the silky. Wow.
Yeah. Hello, PJ and Aaron.
Just want to make sure I didn't miss anything. All right. So also Feather Connections Homestead writes also quiet ducks, and I'm in the inner city. I think ducks are loud. Or you think they're more quiet
Muscovies.
than?
No, the Muscovies are the quietest ducks.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Also quiet ducks. Oh, all right. So that's cool. For us, it would not make a difference. We have roosters. They're loud. Pigs are loud. I mean, relatively loud. Chickens are relatively loud. Pigs are relatively loud. And we have neighbors, but they're not too close to us, so it's not really an issue. I don't think I've ever tried duck meat, Bev Smith writes. Try it. I think it's delicious. PJ's Family Farm. Hello. All duck is dark meat. Yeah, I would say that's true from my understanding of it. I like dark meat. I'm a big fan of that. I think that's where the more flavor is, more fat. It's just more character in the meat, if I could use that word. But yeah, I mean, really enjoy duck meat. Erin Guidros. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Feather Connections Homestead writes, yes, quail eggs can reduce allergies in general. That is awesome and definitely something I would like to research more. Ken Brown, hello. Oh, I did get a notification today. Correction. Buster, Kelly, how did it go? All right. People saying hello. That's awesome. Very cool.
Yeah.
Verna put up the buy me a cup of coffee. I would definitely recommend you folks feel so kind to support Verna. I think she's full of knowledge and she definitely is, has a lot of value as far as education. So if you folks would support Verna, I think that would be really kind. PJ's Family Farm
Tia
says, hey. Joe says, hey. All right.
and Christina from Gidros Family Farm saying hi, friends.
All right.
Tia, the size of the eggs I'm getting is between 16 grams to 23 grams. The smallest ones I get every once in a while is about like 8 or 9 grams, but those are rare.
So there's a big range then.
Yeah.
Okay. That's fine. I mean, same thing with chicken eggs, especially new layers. They're small. A lot of our layers are maybe all. I would say many of our layers, maybe up to all of them, are actually new layers. So some of the eggs are smaller. PJ's Family Farm, just need to be careful. Muscovies are very flighty. Good to know.
Another thing, Colin, is with quail, every time they go through, what's the word I'm looking for?
Molting?
Yeah, molting. Every time they go through a molting, the eggs get a little bit bigger.
Oh, that's cool. Okay, well, I think chickens might be similar. I think at least for the first year, I think they could be small. Then maybe they molt. Interestingly enough, I will say I don't know if I am crazy in some ways for sure, but I don't know if this is crazy, this is incorrect or not. But I think one or more than 1 year, our chickens did not molt. I saw no feather loss. I didn't see any of the typical stuff. I saw no drop in production, and I think that was at least 1 year. Is it possible for chickens not to molt, or do you think I just did not observe it? I did not notice.
They may not have done a complete molt. They may have done just a seasonal molt. Yeah, Bev,
Okay.
it's true about the quail.
Buster, it was definitely tough. My phone pooped out, so I didn't video it, but I'll do a follow-up video. Ken Brown writes, I found Holistic Homestead. Thank you, Ken. I appreciate it. Stay connected. Thank you so much. Awesome. People saying hello. This is cool. I like good crew
This
here. I mean, this is a
this
nice,
is a very
I see a
great this
friendly
is a
community here.
great yeah, this is a great community. If you came to a quail con,
Ah,
if you come to QuailCon, you will find out just how great they are. Hey, Bob.
oh, that's cool. Bob Cole, hello. Bradley James writes, this is my first year my chicken stopped laying over the winter. Bradley James, same for us. And I think that most of our flock, I'm not going to say all, I'll say most of our flock is new. So they might not have been ready to lay yet. But we've got at least one bird, or maybe a few birds that are not first year birds and they actually stopped laying. They did start laying, I think, like last week. So we're still in the winter, but we've had some warm weather. So maybe that did something to their circadian rhythms and slash or hormones. They just started laying. But one thing I've heard, I believe I heard that this is something that the Amish do, is a way to make sure you get eggs all the time is always have first year birds in your flock, because the first year birds apparently will lay whether even if it's winter. And I think that might be true because we've got eggs, and a lot of these birds are first year birds, so that might be true.
Well, with quail, it's light that matters.
Light. Okay. Okay. Now with the light, with the chickens, the light matters as well. I have my own philosophy, thoughts, whatever, when it comes to light. At the end of the day, the animals exist for us to eat them and do what we want to do with them. I think as long as we raise them and we take care of them and we're, give them a nice life, that's all we're responsible to do. But they exist for us. So I'm not against providing light or artificial light. We don't do it because I believe that just like in nature, mimicking nature, they would have those natural breaks. And I think it's important for them to have that natural break for their laying system or their reproductive system. So I don't believe in like commercial, for example, constant lights. I think you could probably negatively affect the bird, but I'm not against
Yeah,
it. So with your
constant
quail, do
light.
you have lights on or do you turn the lights off for them, Verna?
They have to have at least 8 hours off.
Off. Okay. Okay.
Six
Otherwise, they
to
would
eight
stress them
hours
out, I
off.
assume.
Yeah.
Okay.
In
Okay.
other words,
That's
you're
good. That's good.
mimicking the high part of the season with the
Gotcha.
light.
Gotcha. That makes
You can
sense.
go 12 to 16, 12 to 18 hours with light, depending on how strong you want them to lay.
Wow. Okay. So yeah, the light is very important with quail. I see. I think chickens as well. Bob Cole writes 15 to 16 hours a day. S.O. Swanson writes,
Yeah, he's
yes, for
talking about light.
chickens, manage new hens to be laying age at the start of winter for continued egg production. These new layers do not go through a typical molt. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, I think that they must not have because they were still getting their reproductive systems are still developing and/or getting ready, I assume. Bradley James writes, we did not light them this year to give them a break, and they're getting older. Okay, okay. Feather Connections Homestead writes, I have a light timer, Bob. Great idea, and we love it. That's cool. That's cool. Gives you more control over the light.
The
Interesting.
light in the animal room is on a timer.
Okay, all right. That's cool. That makes it one less thing to think about. If I'm the type of person I would just forget or whatever, laziness, procrastination. So that's actually really cool.
There you go.
Bev Smith writes, mine too, Bob. I only provide about 12 hours of light and plenty of eggs. The Connections Homestead writes, quail don't live long enough for it to hurt them. I rotate every 6 months. That's an excellent point. See, this is one of the reasons I really enjoy lives, is because you can learn so much. There's so many smart
Well,
people out there that have information.
they actually live longer, but she rotates hers every 6 months. In other words, at 6 months
Oh,
old,
okay.
they go process.
Oh,
Whereas
okay. So,
me, I was going to let them go for a year before I process.
okay. So I might not
You
have
know,
understood that, but I think I understand at least partially. So
yeah, they can live.
being
They
that
live
they're
up to
not
about 4 years.
multi-year. like chickens, a lot of people say up to 5 years for laying, whatever. They can continue to lay, but they lay less as the years go on. But that makes sense. Even a year, I think that point still stands true that they're not going to live long enough to have a cumulative negative effect because they're going to be processed within a year, maybe.
Blessing, Joseph.
Interesting. PJ's Family Farm, were you talking about quail when you talk about you didn't like them roosting on everything? S.O.
No,
Swanson, I'm older
quail do
too.
not. Quail do not roost.
Oh, okay, okay. So chickens then. Gotcha,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Some people
Gotcha.
do a 2-year rotation. So at the end of
2 year.
2 years
Okay.
is when they're, yeah.
Interesting. Interesting.
What's the mate quail call? A quail rooster? I don't understand what you're asking, Ken.
Oh, what's the? I think they might have wrote meant what's the male quail call?
Yeah, it's a rooster.
Oh, there you go. I might not have known that myself.
We call them roos. See, she's got an addiction problem, a hatching addiction.
Joseph Moore. Bye, everyone. See you next time. Bye, Joseph Moore. Thank you so much for hanging out. Thank you for showing support. I learn something every week with this crew. That's awesome, Bev Smith. Hey, listen, that's exciting to learn. It's cool. I really like making those connections in my mind and just finally understanding things and just gaining that knowledge. It's keeps you young to keep learning. I think I really do. I think it's very important to always have a curiosity. Because with homesteading, I think any of you folks who do any of this stuff, if you raise any animals, if you garden, whatever, you know you never stop learning. It's unlimited, essentially.
David, about a year.
All right. TM writes freezer camp. Freezer camp. Put them in the freezer. Protein and healthy animal fats. Best protein and best fat, animal proteins and animal fats. Bob
Well,
Cole.
see, the thing is I have the video that shows you how to finish your quail for about 2 weeks before you process it, so you can get all that extra fat.
Yes,
And
I watched that
that's
video.
the one you saw.
I watched that video. Yeah, that one is really cool. I was, that's great because then there's a thought behind it because you can get their weight up and get some fat on them. And I imagine, I haven't really eaten anything today, even though it's late. And I could imagine some grilled quail or some slow cooked quail, like in the crock pot or the slow cooked or ninja. Oh, with that fat on it, whew, probably so good.
Congratulations, CB. Beth processed 20 pounds worth of in the freezer of quail.
That is awesome. Bev Smith making things happen. That's awesome. Making it happen. That's what's up. All right. I missed a couple of things here in chat. I don't want to miss because there's some good conversation happening. I hatched too much. That's why I personally rotate every 6 months. They're on the ground in the wild. You know, TM, it's interesting you said that because I thought about that and I thought about people who go quail hunting. I figured they were just in the brush, on the prairie, wherever. That makes sense. So I wonder where they make like a nest on the ground in their natural habitat. Where the quail, because chickens they'll roost and that helps them stay safe from predators. So what the quail do? Just get eaten?
They
What do
hide in
they
the
do
grass.
in the wild?
They hide in the grass.
They hide in the grass? Huh.
Yeah. That's why most of them the wild are brown and black color.
Oh, so they camouflage.
Right.
That's cool. PJ and I are talking about Muscovy ducks. Okay, thank you if you were clarifying. We'll support her in her addiction. Quail Mac. David Bringleson writes, how long do you keep your roos, Verna?
About a year. About a year, and then I clean out the whole cage and get somebody else to take its place.
Okay, all right. All right.
And that's when I told CB, congratulations. She got her Winola ranch cage. Did you get the 3-tier or the 5-tier, CB? And Bev, that's where Bev says she did the 20. And Ken wants to know if you've ever raised any Cornish game hens.
You know, Ken, I have not. I am definitely interested in doing that. We have not even processed any of our chickens here. We use them at this point just for eggs. We have processed rabbits, but we have not processed any chickens. I would like to see what the dual purpose birds look like after processing as far as the amount of meat, whatever. Like how much meat they produce and, how much meat in ratio to skeletal mass, or however I should say that. But I really
Yeah.
want Cornish game hens. I like the idea of just bulking them up, harvesting and getting some protein, especially considering how expensive animal proteins are in the stores nowadays. And I've watched some channels where they've really gotten into the math of this stuff. And in my opinion, and you'll hear different people say different things, it is absolutely, forget about quality, which is a no-brainer. Yes, you raise the animals, you know what they're eating, you take good care of them, healthier animal, better quality, for sure. The math alone, I think it does make sense to raise your own chicken, your own meat birds, for sure. Absolutely. A lot of people have proven this, and context matters, details matter, different situations matter. But if you're buying chicken in the stores nowadays, it's crazy expensive. Crazy expensive.
Not only
And even if
that,
it were more expensive, I would still do it because of the quality.
yeah, because you know what's going into birds you raise up, and you don't know what's in the ones that are in the grocery store.
For sure. For sure. Well, the ones in the grocery store, you could almost be sure they are living in their own waste. They are attacking ones that are weak, and they're cannibalizing one another. You can almost be sure of that. You
Hmm.
could be sure that their body system is stressed out because they use too much artificial pretty much 24/7, artificial light 24/7. You could assume they're being fed GMO feed, which we do feed GMO feed because it's what we can get our hands on, and the non-GMO feed is prohibitively expensive. But we do supplement with our own organically raised crops, foraging, whatever. So we try to like mitigate that problem. I am anti-GMO. It's a different discussion. But we do what we can do. But yeah, I mean, you could be sure that commercially raised animals, all of them, cows, all of them, they're raised in horrible conditions. That's one of the reasons that one of the many reasons I think producing your own food is moral. It's the moral thing to do because you can give the animals a better quality of life. They're gonna die anyways. They're gonna die anyways, but give them a nice life while they're living. And the quality of the food, whether you're talking about raising gardening or raising your own animals, scientifically irrefutably proven to be much higher quality as far as nutrition to raise your own food, to produce your own food. It's irrefutable.
Okay, CB, why did the quail cross the road?
I'm waiting for this. Huga Homestead, thanks for still hanging out. If you're still here, or you were here, thanks for hanging out, even if you're not here anymore. Bev Smith, all right. Brad Freezer Camp, our extra males yesterday. Freezer Camp. That's funny. I like that.
I checked out his live stream. I checked out some of his videos. That's how I found him.
David Bringleson writes, I have one celadon. I was hoping he would still be able to breed at 1 year. Quail? Question mark. Gonna start unboxing while listening. All right.
That's she's
S-
talking about
What's celadon?
celadon is the Turnix quail that lays a blue egg.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Very cool. S.O. Swanson. They just hide in the bushes and get eaten. Hey, that's the reality. That's reality. Oh, that's interesting. Interesting about the blue eggs. When you mentioned blue eggs, I think it's made me think of chicken eggs that are blue and or green. Is that I've heard that actually the brown eggs are like a recessive trait, and that in the future there might only be blue and or green chicken eggs if people keep mixing the chickens. I'm sure more commonly will be blue and or green. Not sure if that's true, but interesting. All right. But welcome, new homestead homie. Hey, listen, I wonder if I'm connected to you. If I'm not, I will absolutely connect to your channel and show support. I try to be supportive, and I like supporting kind
She
people.
she brings humor into what she does. She is
Awesome.
so animated. She'll crack you up while she teaches you things.
Awesome. Ken Brown writes, Cornish game hens are $2.98 at our supermarket. All right, so that's not bad. That's not bad. I like Cornish hens. I think they're good. What when I say Cornish hens, the small birds, the small ones, are they just when they call them and market them as Cornish hens? Are they just small Cornish meat birds? Is that what they are? Just harvested when they're
Well,
smaller?
what you get to raise is Cornish cross. In other words, they're
Okay.
Cornish that are crossed with something else.
Oh, as opposed to just Cornish hens.
Mhm.
Okay. Thank you for explaining.
Oh, okay, you're gonna like that because is it the community cage or the breeder cages? Because on the community cage you can have 18 in each layer. If they're the community cage, you're only supposed to have 15 in it.
Google Homestead writes, my TSC doesn't have chicks yet. Yeah, I haven't seen any chicks being sold lately. As somebody had mentioned earlier, I probably should do more research about where we get our chickens from. Definitely I just want to up our production. I feel like that's like ongoing. I want more and more. And we've had unfortunate chicken losses. Some have died. So I want to get to larger production, maybe sell some eggs or sell some more eggs. Just saying. That would be cool. But yeah, I'm looking forward to spring when people start selling chickens and they have hopefully buy some fish to stock our pond with if we can get our pond to hold water. That's something I'd like to do in this spring as well. Bob Cole writes, Bob White's roost nest in clumps of grass. They're so dumb and they will look up and drown from heavy rain. They will also let fire ants eat them alive. Oh, I don't know if I should laugh at that, but I think that might be funny. That they're so dumb.
It's funny, but yeah.
Yeah, it's sad but funny maybe.
Yeah.
Other connections, Homestead writes, our local farm stores got chicks today. Cool. So it begins, LOL. Hugo Homestead writes, we need a Lucy cameo before you end.
Oh,
Raising
you get
birds
to see Lucy. She'll come up eventually.
All right.
There you go.
Google Homestead chicken math equals quail.
Math equals rabbit math. In other words, it doesn't work.
I don't know. Yeah. It also depends on how you do it, what your input is, what your system is, and the scale also. Like I tell people all the time, For example, when we lived in New York, we had chickens and we were not allowed to. The local, I'll call it local government, the local government thought we should not have the right to raise some hens in a safe, clean manner that did not negatively affect any of our neighbors. We were not allowed to. So we did. We had some chickens. I think we had like between 5 and 7 chickens. And I can say on that scale, the chore of feeding them and taking care of them is the same amount of work as taking care of 10, 15, 20, however many birds. It's the same thing. If you're going to walk out there and do it anyway, so you're talking about investment of time, work, it makes sense to, in my opinion, whenever possible, go as big as possible. Because if you're going to go out there and feed 5 hens, it's pretty much the same amount of work as feeding 50.
20. Yep.
20. We don't have 50. We've got, I mean, 50 hens, more, but in the sense of like ergonomics, efficiency. If I'm carrying 2 5-gallon buckets and they're both 1/8 full, it might take more effort than having them 3/4 full or full. But the efficiency of walking from point A to point B and doing it, it's not much more work. For a much larger return on the investment of time and effort. But yeah, we've got right now, I don't know, between 15 and 20 birds, chickens, I believe. I want to get that up to like 30 would be nice. S.O. Swanson, at processing, they're not being called. They hung live by 1 foot and flapping up a storm to raise the adrenaline levels, which affects flavor. 1 foot and flapping up a storm. Yeah, I think I've heard you do not want the adrenaline. I wanted to see what everyone would answer who the Homestead wrote. All right. Bradley James, right? So we use deer meat instead of beef, raise our own quail, turkeys, chickens, and rabbits just to stay out of the stores. That is awesome, Bradley James. Deer meat is one of the healthiest, most nutritional meats you can get. Wild meat in general is just ideal, but that sounds really amazing. I'm a big fan of red meat. Not everyone has the opportunity, the ability, the knowledge to raise cows, sheep. So, I mean, that's a good way. If you can get deer, that's awesome. Something I would like to get into is hunting. Have not done it yet. Very popular where we live. Has anyone raised a cayuga? What was that, Verna?
I don't have a hunter anymore.
Oh, you can hunt.
No, I can't.
You can go out.
I couldn't.
Oh, no.
I couldn't tolerate the noise of the gun going off.
Oh. Well, just a random thing. They've got really, really good ear protection, and they have the stuff that actually you can put on your ears.
Yeah, but the gun
to
kick back. The gun kick back, and something tapping me triggers me real bad too.
Oh, okay. All right, because they've got some really cool hearing protection that as soon as you fire, it goes silent, so you really would not hear much of anything. And as far as the recoil, I do understand that. I think there are certain firearms you'd really be surprised they have little to none.
Well, with me, I would have to go with the crossbow.
Okay, yeah, I mean, whatever gets it done. PJ's family farm responds to David. Yes, David, I have. Interesting. Cornish hens are young and they are good. Yeah, I like them. It was one of my favorite things. I like they're just small, easy to cook, easy to prepare. It's got me hungry. Literally getting hungry from all this discussion. She's still in town or Yeah, I really enjoy eating. Sincerely, we really like food. We eat a diversity of different types of food, and it makes life, make life fun. It's just have fun with food.
You're doing,
We need water. We need food.
yeah, you're doing some breaking up there. We couldn't understand half of what you said.
Oh, I'm sorry. Um, yeah, we're just big fans of eating. We really like food. We're very passionate about food. Very passionate about cooking. We did own a restaurant for a period of time. I'll add that information I did not add before. And I've been in the restaurant industry or food industry for about 25 years, 23 of which I've been in the restaurant industry. I've worked with some amazing chefs back in New York and some great chefs here in Missouri. We've been here about 4 years approximately. And we love food. And I think everyone should produce their own food in one way or another, or try to. They should, actually. Not going to say try to because people like Verna make it happen in an apartment because you know, it's just fun. And we need water and we need food to live. So people could try to trivialize or discount how important food is, but we need it to live. So food is
Yep.
important, and it's so unbelievably important. And it's fun in life to take food and do what I call disguised repetition to prevent food fatigue. If you eat the same thing every day, which there's certain food that could be yummy every day, it's going to be boring for most people. So taking
And you'll
quail,
get
for
sick of it
example,
eventually.
that's right. So like Verna, let me ask you, how many ways do you know how to cook quail?
I got 3 cookbooks out.
See, first of all, I did not even know that. That's awesome. And that proves my point. That proves my point. Is like, it would be really boring. I mean, it might be yummy, but it'd be really boring if you had grilled quail every day. Just saying.
Well,
My opinion.
there's so many different seasonings you can put on quail when you grill it. It would take you a
Mm,
few it would take you a few summers before you got sick of it. Number 1.
that's
Number 2,
awesome.
cooking in a slow cooker, there's so many different ways that you can do it.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I
For
mean,
sure.
yeah. My favorite
That's
way to cook
awesome.
quail is to take up some vegetables and slice and lay in the bottom of my slow cooker. Then take my quail meat, lay it on top of the vegetables, and then I put condensed cream of mushroom soup on top of that and let it cook for 3
Oh,
hours, and I got a meal. That's
yes.
just the easy way to do it. I
Awesome.
can't hear you.
Oh, cream of mushroom is versatile. It's
Yeah,
just it's just a great thing to have around. You can use it for different recipes.
yeah.
Um, S.O. Swanson writes, Cornish hens are a specific breed of chicken, not just a smaller chicken. Okay, like not like the Cornish crosses, which are crossed. The Cornish hens are just Cornish hens. Okay, yeah, I think I got that before. Thank you for clarifying. S.O. Swanson writes, quail crossed the road to get to my house because I have more treats for them. All right, that's good. David Bringleson writes, are they good for medium backyard? Cayuga. TM writes, I have a few local chicken breeders I can get eggs for hatching, but not so many quails. Interesting. The Bud Files,
Well,
welcome, welcome, welcome.
hey, Sue, welcome to the chat.
PJ's Family Farm writes, yes, David, they don't get as big as jumbo pecans. Nida's Cooking Show, Vase. I'm still here, Thank you so much, Nida's Cooking Show, or Nita's. Pardon my pronunciation if
Nita.
that's incorrect. Thank you so much for hanging out. How do you say that
She's a
name?
sweetheart.
Nida's or Nita's?
Nita. That's how I pronounce it.
Nita's. All right, I'll go with Nita. Cole writes, a lot of communities allow hens but no roosters. And you know, Bob, I could understand that. For me, my philosophies are extreme freedom. And that's a whole different discussion, which maybe Verna will be maybe kind enough to have me as a guest again, and I could discuss my philosophies regarding
Yeah, maybe we can do one that's different from
HOAs,
this
for
one,
example.
and yeah, one of these times we'll do
For sure. And
a
discuss.
ranting one.
We could do a ranting one.
Yeah, not tonight, but another time. We could schedule a special
Yeah,
one
no,
just
that's
for
cool.
rants.
Sure. But I think that would be an interesting topic to discuss what people are allowed to do. It pains me to say that because I believe people should be free. But what people should do, what they can do, and what's also respectful to their neighbors, because people live in urban situations, different than suburban, different than rural. You know, just discuss what we think is moral, what rules we should or should not obey. For me, I think for the most part, hens could be more quiet than dogs. So if people live in an urban situation, in my opinion, they should absolutely be able to raise hens as long as it's not negatively affecting other people's property, gardens, whatever. They got them set up in a safe way. Hens are pretty quiet. In New York, we got hens. Our neighbor liked it. He got interested. He got hens because he thought they were cool. As far as roosters, I could understand that. Roosters can be loud. Some people might not like it. I'm extreme freedom. I feel like people should just deal with it and live their own lives and whatever. So in certain circumstances, I do understand no roosters in certain circumstances. So I get that. Bob Cole writes, we have elk mule deer on our property. Elk is very tasty. Wow, that is awesome. I have heard elk. I think I might have had elk maybe in like jerky form, maybe mixed with beef and / pork. I've never had like an elk steak. I've heard elk is delicious. And mule deer, I think they're larger than whitetail, I believe. So, and elk herd are big. If somebody can harvest an elk, I feel like that's a massive amount of food. High quality food. S.O. Swanson writes, shooting, ear protection is pretty good, but it's still there. Yeah, I get that, but from my opinion is I've had ear protection. Common inserts, yeah, you still hear it for sure. I put on ear protection that I can tell you, you can actually choose the volume level, and it really makes it, I don't want to say non-existent, but it's like a conversation. So I think, from what I remember, I would like some ivory teeth from an elk. Interesting. TM, I'm trying to compost in a 5-gallon bucket. I hope it works out. TM, you can do that for sure. You can compost in any amount of space. However, there are limiting factors. Depends on the type of composting you want to do. If you want a thermophilic compost, which is a hot compost, usually you need a larger biomass. You're going to need like at least 3 feet high, 3.5, 4 feet high, 3.5 to 4 feet wide to create enough biomass. But even if it's not thermophilic, you can have a fungally dominant compost if you just don't touch it. And just make sure you have some woody material like wood chips or any woody material really. You can throw some leaves in there, get some mold going. Everything breaks down. The most important thing for any compost is the microbiology. So if you want to compost in a 5-gallon bucket, what I would recommend is going to the oldest forest you can find in your area. And if there's no forests, that's okay. Just find somewhere where there's trees. Go under the oldest looking tree you can find and respectfully, without damaging nature, dig a little bit of that topsoil right from the topsoil that's exposed. You might have some leaves to remove. Take some of those leaves too. Take those too. The initial first inch of that topsoil and go down a few inches. Get a few handfuls of that. Put that in your 5-gallon bucket. Water it down, and now you inoculate it with all kinds of microbiology that is native to your area. And that will compost whatever you put in that 5-gallon bucket for sure. It just might take you longer than a 30 or 60 or 90-day compost, but you're still taking organic matter and breaking it down. Short pickings, quail rice, maybe a crossbow, eh? That's right. That's an option.
That's what I said, a crossbow.
That's right, yeah. Bob Cole writes, you can live 3 minutes without air, 3 days without water, and 3 weeks without food. Yes, that's a great point. The rule of threes, I believe that's called. However, to be fair, that is absolutely correct, but usually context matters. That would probably be for a fully hydrated person and a person that was going into that time period with some food in their system. Also, it depends on activity levels. If you're lying in bed, just chilling out, hanging out, your caloric expenditure is going to be lower. I would say in most reasonable circumstances, maybe it could be longer than that, but I would say probably less time than that. 3 minutes without air, that's also probably
depends on your lungs and everything else.
For sure. Oxygen of around you, of what your last breaths were before holding your breath or not being able to breathe. But I think that's a great thing you wrote, Bob, because I think it gives a great perspective and a great baseline. And it really helps people focus on gotta breathe, need some water, need some food. All right. Elk IT sell for $30-ish. TM writes, yeah, they cost a little bit. Esto Swanson, you know how many you'd have on the panel for a rant session? Maybe a lot. Maybe a lot of people have a lot to rant about. I do. Ed got bait. I was pronouncing your name as if it's a French name. Sorry, Ed. Ed got bait. Welcome. Good evening. Sorry, late was napping. All good. Happy you stopped by. TM, I am limited in space for composting. I just want to use kitchen scraps. Okay. You can do it with just kitchen scraps, but if you do it with just kitchen scraps and you don't do what I said, I mean, that's ideal what I said. Go to an old forest. If you don't have an old forest, go where there's some trees, an older tree. If you don't do that, find some soil somewhere. Take a handful, throw it in the pot. I don't want to say you need that because bacteria will probably be present and or get there through the air or whatever. But that's going to really help you out just for a handful of soil. It's going to dramatically help down your the speed at which it decomposes. And be careful with kitchen scraps because you might just go fully anaerobic and turn into some sloppy, disgusting slime. But that's fine.
Mostly,
it might smell
if he's
too,
using
that's fine.
Mostly if he's using a gamma lid on it. That's not letting air in or
Gamma lid,
nothing.
Yeah, if you're putting a gamma lid on there, then it's going to go fully anaerobic, which is fine. People will say, oh, you can't go anaerobic. You absolutely can. Anaerobic conditions exist in nature. They exist in clay soil in some conditions. And if I may recommend, David the Good, if you folks are not already familiar with his channel, he has some excellent information about composting. And he also he dispels a lot of myths and a lot of garbage information when it comes to composting. And he's an advocate for, at least sometimes, anaerobic composting. Making anaerobic teas. You could absolutely do that. I'm just saying, throw a handful of soil in there. It'll be better.
Yep, you can do anything. Everything can work. It's just having the patience and knowledge to do it.
That's right. That's right. Well said, Verna. But yeah, also if you have some leaves, adding a little bit of leaves, some type of carbon, even some sticks or twigs, you don't have to put a lot of effort into it. Walk outside, grab some stuff, break it up, throw it in the bucket. That's going to help. And any ammonia or anything that might unwanted smells, the carbon's going to absorb that, which is, there's a benefit of that. And the carbon also absorb excess nutrition, and you want a place to hold that nutrition. Now you talk about all right. I put pine shavings / small chips in poop trays. They get dumped in compost pile. Lucky I have a wood mill close by. Very handy. That's awesome, Bob. That's awesome. Yeah. Pine shavings, great. Small wood chips, great. So manure, great. Awesome for composting. Wood mill must be great. And also
I'm getting some coffee right now. That's what I'm ducking out for. Did we lose you, Colin? Are you frozen, Colin? Looks like you might be frozen, you guys. When I do TM, you'll know. Yeah, he'll be back. And it looks like we got caught up. Well, you guys, I've got a little sad news. If everybody's still here. Yeah, okay, we still have 10 people here. I found out why my breathing's getting worse is because I am allergic to feather dander. And so I'm going to be getting rid of the quail. But you know, I've still got all the knowledge. But I just need to get some more breathing back under control. Hey, Professor, I'm glad you got the mug. And TM, I'm not joking about the rant video. I will schedule a rant video. And it'll be pinned in the room that everybody can come in. No, I'm getting rid of the cages and everything else. Everything related to the birds, I have to get rid of. I have to thoroughly clean that room and everything. But that's why my coffee has been getting so bad and where I almost pass out from it. And Colin's getting ready to come back in. There he goes. Welcome back, Colin.
all right. Thank you. Thank you. Sorry,
I just
missed
told
some-
everybody that the sad news is that in the apartment, I'm going to have to get rid of my quail and everything because dander's really affecting my breathing bad. And I knew I was allergic to birds, but I put up with it for over 5 years to now where I'm
Wow.
having coughing spells that make me almost pass out.
Yeah, that's not good. That's not worth it. You need air. We discussed it. Bob just said it. You got to breathe, Verna.
Right. So that was the news that I had posted about I was giving. But I can still help the quail community because as long as I'm alive, I'll still have that knowledge.
That's right. That's
And
right.
I'm
For
not
sure.
allergic to fur, so I won't be getting rid of the rabbits.
Great. That's great.
But you know, even when you got a health problem stops you from doing one thing, you can always still go with what you can do. You know, I have the
Absolutely.
attitude that there's no such thing as can't do it. You have to think outside the box of what you can do. And being self-sufficient doesn't mean being self-sufficient in everything. It's being self-sufficient in that which you are able to be self-sufficient in.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well said, Verna. Because I mean, life happens, and I think for anybody here, I mean, not just in homesteading and not just in gardening and raising your own, whatever you do in life, curveballs are going to be thrown your way, and it takes a mature person to be able to accept the reality, contour, adjust, pivot, customize their approach, change, and move forward. And that's another reason, besides the fact that you've done things, Verna, and you've successfully done things in an apartment. That's another good point. And this is why one of the reasons I like to have you as a guest. And this could have been streamed to our audience, but it didn't work out. But I also want our audience to see whether we stream it to our audience at the same time or we just have you over on our channel as a guest. I really want our audience to get both points. Number one, you can do it. Number two, if things happen, you can still do it.
Yeah, you just have to think outside the box. Now, see,
right.
if I had a house to where I had a small yard, I would be able to still raise the quail
Yep.
because I wouldn't be breathing the dander all the time.
See, Verna. Go ahead, Verna.
And no, David, I'm not going to get the guinea pigs back because the guinea pigs are too time consuming. They eat more than a rabbit does. And I mean, they're good. They're good to raise if that's all you can have. You know what I'm saying? But the guinea pigs were a test animal for me to see if I could process furry creatures. You know?
Okay.
And that's why I raised them for the year that I raised them.
See, that's interesting. I'm happy. I respect your input.
And that's the reason why they went to Gedro's family homestead. So that because he has a bigger market for it.
I'm happy that the guinea pigs were mentioned because that's something, I believe they're called cuy, for example, right? In like South America, it's common. Okay. Well, that's something I've been interested in.
You think a cuy is the livestock, guinea pigs are the pet.
Okay, there you go. Okay. So raising cuy is something that I've heard of and I've been interested in, but I think like when someone like you who knows what they're talking about, who's done it and has the experience with the cuy, with the rabbits, with the quail, I'm not going to necessarily just say one person, like Verna said it, so I'm not going to do it. But there's a lot of value in somebody like you saying, hey, it's not worth it. And, I like hearing those. I like hearing recommendations to do things and not to do things.
Cuy are good if you got a lot of people from South America and that in your neighborhood.
Oh, there you go.
In your area where they will actually buy it and do the harvesting themselves. Another problem I had with the guinea pig is the strongest part of their body is their neck. So that cervical dislocation did not work. I don't have the strength for it.
Interesting. Those are all good points. Those are all good points. And as far as making money, go ahead, Verna.
And Ed, I would get goats, but I don't have a yard. I have to have an acre to get a herd of goats. And I would do it because I love goat's milk.
Well, I want to. Thing you had mentioned, which I thought was pretty smart. Context matters, and where large Hispanic population, Hispanic American population, or they might just claim being Hispanic, but if they're here in America, I'll say large Hispanic American population in New York. I know people foods, we could probably pay a premium for food like that. So I would say if someone lives
Right.
in a large city, which is probably where more Hispanic folks are, Hispanic Americans are, that might be something they can make a lot of money with, because they would be like, hey, you
Right.
know, that could be a celebratory thing, a feasting thing, and they're like, hey, pick up some cuy for the family dinner or for someone's birthday, and they'll pay a premium because they can't get it elsewhere.
Ed, I know it is the quail because I've had the problems before I brought the rabbits in, and I've been putting on more asthma medicines and everything. And the little break that I took away from them, I can remember the problems going away. Then when I got them back in again at
Mm,
QuailCon, I went back to being bad again.
mm.
So that, and not only
So it's
that,
obvious.
when I was a child, I had would have my first asthma attack when I was less than an hour old. I had to have a lot of allergy
Oh
tests,
no.
and they said I couldn't have. I was allergic to dust. I was allergic to feathers. In other words, I wasn't allowed to have a feather pillow. I wasn't allowed to have feather quilts. None of that.
Wow. Wow. So yeah, it
So all
sounds
the eggs that I'm getting
pretty
between now and the day that the quail and that are being picked up are going to go into my freeze dryer. I've already got a few bags of freeze dried eggs, so I don't have to worry about that.
that's awesome. And as soon as you mentioned eggs, I think my brain went to your freeze dry. I'm like, freeze dry them if you can. That's genius. And that's superfood. It's a superfood.
Yeah.
Eggs are superfood. They're one of the most nutritious foods a person could possibly get. A person could survive, maybe not well, off of quite literally eggs and water. So you got dehydrated eggs. That's or freeze dried eggs. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
because it's equal amounts of egg powder to water. You got two tablespoons of powdered egg to 2 tablespoons of water equals 1 chicken egg.
Wow. Wow.
Good evening, Jennifer. But
For one
Ed,
quail egg.
no, that's more than 1 quail egg. That's a quarter cup of quail egg.
Oh, gotcha.
Ed, health is taking away the birds, but nothing's taking away my knowledge until I get Alzheimer's.
Hopefully you don't. Good evening, Verna. Jennifer writes, welcome, Jennifer. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for stopping by. Now, about the goats, I like the idea of raising all the animals. I mean, I think it's nice to be able to specialize with a few or one or a few, but I've heard, just to throw it out there, a person or people say that goats are like a horrible idea. And you have some
That
people that like
depends
them.
on
Some
what.
people say that they're escape artists, that they always try to escape. And they always try to kill themselves.
That all depend. Well, they say the same thing about quail,
Mm.
that they're born to die. So, but
So,
but the thing is, now I forget what we were saying.
that's the goats.
If you get um, miniature dairy goats like the Nigerian dwarfs
Hmm.
or the pygmy goats, you don't have as many problems with them.
Okay, I've heard of
And
those
all goats
Nigerian.
love to climb, TM.
Sure. Yeah. I for us, I feel like what would be really, really complete for us in our homestead would be to raise some red meat. And I think what makes the most sense for us would be sheep. We really love lamb. It's one of our favorite meats. It's one of the most nutritious meats. I'm a big fan of red meat. They seem like they're docile and kind of easier to control. And I feel like they would also not destroy our limited pasture we have. And ideal would be have a source of milk and a source of red meat. And I feel like if we could do that, we can kind of fully
And
complete what we're
goats are
trying
that.
to do. That's the
Well,
thing. You
you
can
can
get goat milk,
you can get dairy sheep too.
dairy sheep too. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. And I think I don't recall if it's sheep or if it's goat milk. Well, goat milk is first of all delicious, and just like quail eggs, some people can handle quail eggs, but they can't really handle chicken eating chicken eggs well. Some people have issues with cow milk. They have no issues with goat milk.
Hmm.
And I've heard actually for children, milk is good for children. Raw milk is the best. Just saying. That's a different discussion. Maybe just kidding. Not kidding. Um, but I've heard goat milk for children is just as good, if not better, than cow milk, and it's easier for a lot of people who have sensitive digestive
Well, yeah.
tracts.
Another thing is that in goats, the cream don't separate like they do in cow milk.
That's an
You have to
awesome
buy a
thing that I
special.
never knew.
You have to buy a special separator to separate the cream from goat's milk.
That's really interesting. I never knew that. I just learned something. That is awesome. Wow. Yeah, I'm trying to remember which one is like one of my favorite cheeses is Pecorino Romano. And I want to say that's a sheep cheese, not a goat cheese. I think it's a sheep cheese. Um, but yeah, goat cheese, delicious. We like cheese a lot, and I really, really love cheese. And if I could make some goat cheese, any goat cheese, that would be amazing. If we could make some type of sheep cheese, which I believe Pecorino Romano is one, I think that would be amazing. Um, and just the proteins, and a lot of that stuff is just very expensive, and there's work and there's time involved, but the quality is just far superior. We were able to get our hands on some, let's just say, real milk around here, and I never want to buy store-bought milk ever again. Never again. It tastes like water to me, and it's inferior and it's expensive. Regular cow's milk, in my opinion.
Yeah.
They apparently have tasty weeds, Bev Smith writes. S.O. Swanson writes, goat milk is naturally homogenized. That's awesome. I love goat cheese. Oh, I do too, Bev Smith. Random,
Goat
unsolicited
cheese, goat
recommendation.
soap.
Goat cheese, black pepper. Whenever you have goat cheese, a little black pepper, fresh crushed black pepper. So good, in my opinion. You said goat soap?
Yeah, goat milk soap.
Wow. Interesting.
That's really good for you.
PJ's Family Farm writes, goat milk is easier for your body to process. Cream does not. Cream does separate, but not as quickly or as easily as cow's milk. That's cool. Bev Smith writes, yum. PJ's Family Farm. I'm watching goats now. Hopefully have kids tonight. Wow, that would be really cool.
Oh,
That would be
good
really
luck.
cool.
Keep us informed, PJ.
That would be really cool.
How many you get? What kind? And I haven't heard from Jasmine lately about her goats. How many goats how many nannies are ready, PJ?
We've only been waiting on those kids from 2022. If I may, folks, I would definitely love to. I definitely want to connect with you folks. And what I'll do is after, maybe later on today, tonight at some point, I'll just make sure I'm connected to all of your channels. I'll try to stop by and show support. If I could have an unapologetic plug, I would really love for you folks to connect to our channel. That would be really appreciated. So I'll just
type in code.
Put the yeah, and hopefully I see some of you folks on our channel. Verna's got a great community. We've also got a lot of really just kind, knowledgeable, supportive people in our community. And I think it's actually awesome because Verna and I both have like almost identical amount of subscribers, which is cool because we can kind of grow. I hope to see us grow together.
Oh
And
yeah.
us small channels folks, we really should show each other support because we're fighting the algorithm. We're fighting an antagonistic force to get that momentum to grow for our videos to even show up and get out there. So for us right now, what's stopping us from being monetized, even the partial 3,000 watch hour monetization, is our watch hours. So if you folks just feel like playing some of our stuff, that would be super awesome, and I would really appreciate that. Triple Q, what is the best floor wire for rabbits? I don't know anything about that, but I will tell you, we raise our rabbits outside. We have the space for it. So that's just, we're blessed with that space. Not everyone has the space. And we have them in like a, what could be called a rabbit tractor. It doesn't have wheels, which would kind of pick it up, move it every day, 2 or 3, and they graze. And in the floor, there's holes that are probably 3 to 4 inch wide or
Long
long, so they're actually getting a lot of ground contact.
and
And
about
then
a
on the
half inch
side,
wide.
it's hardware cloth to keep them safe from predators and also safe from escaping. Because I think at least at least one of the kits in the past, there was like found a little spot and somehow got out. I was able to get the kit and put the kit back. But yeah, it's have space. I highly recommend tractor. They're happy, hardy. They've got warm. And you could also put tarp over them and you're concerned about that. You could also just not breed them in the middle of the winter. Or there's super heat. I think the heat is something about our fine in the heat. We have shade. We have like a shade cloth kind of thing you put over there for them. They seem totally fine. Just make sure that they're hydrated. And yeah, if you've got the space, really put them outside. You can cut down on your feed dramatically, in my opinion. And they will eat everything. Well, not everything, but they'll graze. And little food is needed. It's almost free for yourself, or for your family and yourself, or just for yourself if you live alone. But I mean, that's an example of almost an ideal livestock at that point.
I would tell you one
Yeah,
thing.
highly recommend to get them outside. Sure.
If you put pea guards in your rabbit cages, you don't have to worry about putting the 1/4 inch hardware cloth around it to protect for babies getting out. The pea guards keep the babies in.
When you say,
It's a
okay,
strip of
I am not
metal.
familiar with what pea guards are. Okay.
It's a strip of metal about 3 or 4 inches high that goes around the
Okay.
base of your cage so that
Okay.
they can't spray you, so they don't spray you or spray outside of their tray. You
Huh.
know, if you got a tray in there. And that also keeps the
Huh.
babies in so the babies can't get out of the wire.
Interesting. Okay, I'll definitely look at that. We don't have a tray. We have a little like rabbit house, little mini, I don't know, little mini rabbit house kind of thing for them to go into, which gives them some shelter as well. I'm talking about rabbits that were probably, I don't want to say days old, maybe like days old, but I'll say like a week or more than a week old. They just jumped out. Yeah, I don't think they escaped when I had it open. I think they just found a spot somewhere. But I'll have to try to just inspect and try to make sure. I did try to breed our rabbits. I thought a few weeks ago. I have to look at my calendar and see what happened. But I don't know. I don't know if I know I could supposedly like feel and take the rabbit out and try to feel. I don't know if the rabbit is pregnant or not. I haven't seen them.
Well,
The rabbit seen pulling the fur out, which I know is a sign. I haven't seen that, but I don't know. I feel like
do you have your butt?
our does. Just,
Do you
what was that?
do you have your buck? Do you have your buck with your does all the time?
I do not. And when I put them together, the doe just runs. I have to like kind of like
What
trap
you,
her, like
yeah, you kind of have to watch. And when the buck gets a couple fall offs, then you're fine.
I don't know. I
Then
put
you'll
them
have,
together,
then
and
30 days later.
yeah, I there were some fall offs, but I don't know if the actual mating was successful. I don't even know if he was like properly
If he
mating.
actually, if he falls off, because if they're not successful in mating, they don't have the fall off. The fall off is when he lands on his side.
Yeah, yeah. I think that did happen. So,
So that
interesting.
one should
I'll
be
find out.
that one. You mark the day down from that one. And there's Andy Rabbit. She's the rabbit lady. She's where I got my rabbits from.
I have to look and see if I marked the date. I think the first time I read them I did, but I don't know if I marked it this time. But I really hope that they bred. TM writes, there are a lot of homestead channels. It is hard to watch them all. Yeah, if I had unlimited time, I would just soak up all this knowledge. I do spend a lot of time on YouTube. Now it's a lot of it's showing support to people that show support to our channel and just watching people's videos, liking, commenting, all that. So it has, to be totally honest with you folks, which you could expect me to be for the most part or always, it's taken a lot of the fun out of just watching stuff because I enjoy it. Because now it's like I'm trying to grow the channel so there's work involved. And I do enjoy a lot of the content I watch. Some of it not so much. I'm doing it just to be kind and supportive. But I don't mind that because I like to be supportive. But I still take time and just watch stuff that I enjoy. And we are connected to a lot of channels that I actually do enjoy the content, like Verna's channel, for example. When I get a chance to go to her, I enjoy watching her content. But if I had unlimited time, I would just watch videos nonstop because I love learning and watching, and there's also entertainment value there sometimes. Andy Rabbit,
Off with your
hello.
head, Andy. Off with your head, Andy. 2 hours late. She's the one that
Andy
started
Rabbit,
that.
where do you buy your rabbit floor wire, please? S.O. Swanson writes, I watch the ones that are on a journey or learning something. I don't watch just to watch. Cool. Well, I mean, I'm just going to throw this out there. This might have nothing to do with this. It has nothing to do with our channels, and it's this perhaps directly and slash or indirectly does have to do with homesteading. And you might understand when you watch her channel, but I'm going to recommend a channel. I think it's one of the best channels on YouTube. I have a lot of respect for this woman. She is unbelievably intelligent. She posts a lot of content that's kind of like, or is irrefutable information. It's not political. It's not opinions. It's not media driven garbage. It's facts, historical facts, current event facts. She used to, I don't know if she does anymore, like fully reference everything or a lot of the stuff she would put in her videos. I'm going to type it in the comments. The name of the channel is called Really Graceful. It's one word. And I recommend this channel to pretty much everybody that I remember to. You folks seem like, a lot of you folks seem like super smart people, and you probably are interested in what's going on in the world. A lot of the stuff she covers actually does directly and slash or indirectly discuss food production, like freedom to produce your own food, and like trends of things that are happening, like big agriculture and commercial farming and meat production. So you might really enjoy her channel, but if you folks are not, just watch her videos. You can really start to connect the dots with a lot of things that are going on in the world, and I think that more people should be aware of the stuff that she discusses.
Andy, what Jennifer wants to know is what size is the wire that you use?
Andy Rabbit writes, I like Bass equipment for a wire. Last time I got some, I had my local feed store order me some. Andy Rabbit writes, sometimes the Home Depot has good source of wire too. S.O. Swanson writes, give Jennifer some wire size specs for her rabbit cage. Okay. 4 wires, half by 1 inch. Half by 1 inch.
Yep.
Interesting. Okay, I'm trying to visualize. I'm used to hardware cloth, which I think is one of the most useful, amazing things anybody can have anywhere is hardware cloth. That small gauge, and they have different gauges. Strong,
Yeah, but
useful for composting.
that's not good for some of the animals because that usually has barbs on it. So with birds, you have to worry about um, I'm doing terrible on names today.
No, it's all good. So
Bumblefoot.
you're saying because the hardware cloth, what was that?
Bumblefoot. It causes bumblefoot in the birds.
Bumblefoot. What's bumblefoot?
That's where they get a little cut on the bottom of their foot and then get an infection
Oh no.
and it swells up and you have to lance it and medicate it
Hmm.
and everything else. Because if you
Oh,
don't get rid of it, the infection can spread up their legs and everything.
sure.
And you
I
can't
mean,
use and you shouldn't use what hardware cloth on rabbits because it's razor wire to rabbits.
really.
So you get
Uh,
the bigger holes for the rabbits, and that way it's a heavier wire. It'll hold their weight
yeah,
as well as everything else.
that's good to know. I mean, in our rabbit tractor, it is the larger holes and the thicker, stronger, sturdier stuff. That's what we have. I was just thinking of what the other, maybe I was thinking about what the other cloth or wire the person was talking about. I could see how the hardware cloth, because it is kind of flimsy and it can break. I could see how that could have little pieces that stick up and might cut animals, but it's pretty sturdy. I mean, I feel like if it's laid out flat, it might be all right. But I'll
It's
take
not
your
that
word for it because you know.
it's not that sturdy because even guinea pigs can get out of it can end up too much weight on the hardware cloth, quarter-inch hardware cloth.
Mm, okay, okay, that's good to know. Jennifer, thanks, Andy Rabbit. So many knowledgeable people. Thanks, everyone. Well, if you're counting me in that,
And
I'll say you're
remember
welcome. You are
and
knowledgeable
remember
people
on the
here.
gauge of wire, the smaller the gauge, the heavier the wire.
The smaller, oh, you mean like more weight overall?
In other words, the 16 gauge wire is a thinner wire compared to the 14 gauge. The 14 gauge is and hardware cloth is 19 gauge. It will sag and break and cut the rabbit's foot.
We'll cut the rabbit's foot. Okay, okay. That's good to know. I mean, right now, that's not what we use. I would not have used it in the past because not only I use hardware cloth, other stuff like compost rings, and it's also really, really good for like
Yeah.
predator protection of the chicken coop, and it's good for sifting compost. I mean, hardware cloth I think is amazing and has many, many uses. We don't use it in a rabbit tractor because it has the larger, stronger um, stuff in there, wire or whatever. But it's good to know
Mhm.
because in the future I would not want to use that now that I hear that it would be a bad idea because who knows if I did not hear that maybe I would have just done it. I don't know, but I don't think I would
Uh-huh.
have because I also like the idea of the rabbits having contact with the ground and being that they're foraging. The hardware cloth is going to make that more difficult. Having larger holes is
Right.
better for them. It's more ground contact, but I feel like it's probably better for their feet and and also just easier for them to forage and stuff and also for the manure. They're just fertilizing our property nonstop. But if the hardware cloth would be too small, the manure would probably get stuck in there.
Okay, 14 is best and it's 16 will work. This is what you meant, Andy.
The gauge is thicker. 16. Yeah, so the lower
Yeah,
the number, the thicker
make
the
it
gauge. Okay.
right.
Hardware cloth erratic can tear out of too. Okay, it's good to know.
They
Rabbits
can
just
even
like
tear
big.
out of the 16 gauge because I just seen a video. Katrina had a problem with hers tearing up some of the 1 inch by half-inch.
Andy Rabbit writes, hardware cloth can be used for wall wire if needed. Yes, I believe there is some hardware cloth used for wall wire in our rabbit tractor. I like that because I feel like it's also keeps unwanted animals or predators from getting in there, snakes or whatever it might. It minimizes that somewhat, I feel.
It would minimize the snakes, but not birds of prey.
What the
Because
hardware
birds of
cloth?
prey can rip. Yep, birds of prey
Oh,
can
they can rip them.
tear that hardware. Yeah, they can rip that open
Wow,
with those talons.
wow. The top part of it is it's kind of like might be called like a skirt of hardware cloth around more the bottom, but after a little
Yeah.
bit, I think it's mostly or all larger, thicker, stronger stuff.
Well, usually you would
And
put
we've
the
got
quart. You would put about that much of the hardware cloth around the bottom of the cage, outside of the other thing, to keep the babies from escaping.
yeah, but I feel like
Because if
yeah, I feel like if it depends on the size of the hole, but I mean they're pretty small and they're like they'll find their way through things. I feel like it would need a little more than that of some. I mean, depends. I mean, I have to like just measure it or whatever. But I feel like if the holes are too big, they'll just jump out.
right.
Yeah.
But see, on the 14 gauge or 16 gauge, the holes aren't that big.
Okay.
They're only
See,
a half inch by an inch.
this is great information here. I use hardware cloth around my quail cages. Okay. Yeah. You folks, I like TM. I think you were talking about composting. This is going to be a plug for our videos, but I think there's some information you might be interested in. I'm not sure if you're set up, if you live in an urban area, suburban area, or rural area, but hardware cloth, if you can get a small amount, like a cuttable amount, or like a custom measured amount, in a hardware store or whatever, if you don't want to spend a lot of money to buy a lot of it, it's excellent to create compost rings. And we have some videos on our channel discussing how we compost with making rings with hardware cloth. Um, and you could really very quickly, all you need is like a 4 foot by 4 foot really space anywhere. And that stuff is excellent. You could really seriously increase your compost production from that 5 gallon bucket, increase the volume, and have plenty of compost. Well, maybe depends on how much you use. But hardware cloth might be something for you, TM, to consider for compost use.
See, if you use the you can use a half inch or the 1/4 inch, either one, and you can get 100 feet of the half inch, 24 by 100 feet for $65.99, or 36 by 100 feet of the 1/4 inch for $105. You can even get it cheaper on Amazon. They got so many different ways you can get it. So it's still not that expensive considering what you're going to be using it for.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if all hardware stores are the same, but there's like a little instruction outside of a small town. But either way, I think go and those size hardware cloth, for example, for you, and you can get custom size. You want it, for example, in our food forest area to deal with deer and unwanted area.
You're break you're breaking up again, Colin.
We could not afford. We couldn't afford to get a fence for our forest area. So now I'm just thinking different ideas, trying to be creative of what I can do to keep out deer and rabbits, or at least keep more of them out. Deer, I know, will just jump, and I assume rabbits might dig underneath. So without an actual fence, our food forest might have to be just open to animals to hopefully they don't eat all the food, but it would be cool. But hardware, I mean, I could just get hardware. Deer won't burrow, rabbit won't burrow, dig underneath, whatever. Then build up height that deer will not jump, or let deer jump over, but at least stop the rabbit from getting in. But that would be massive.
If you got the half inch, if you got the half inch by 1 or 2 inch, you would be able to put that on the bottom of the rabbit cage so they can still forage, would not be able to dig out.
Yeah. Oh no, our rabbits are not able to dig out with the way it's set up now. I'm talking about wild rabbits going into our food forest area and eating our gardening stuff. So that's what I'm worried about. So I don't know. I just feel like if I had a massive amount of money,
Do you have any dogs?
A ridiculous amount of hardware. We do not have any dogs. We do not. I might in the future. If we get sheep, I'll probably get dogs to protect the sheep. But right now, we do not have any dogs. Andy Rabbit writes, on the 24 new cages I built, it was cheaper for me to get 100 foot of floor wire and put it on the roof and floor than using 1x2 for the roof. I saved about $400 by having the feed store get it for me on the shipping. That's awesome, Andy. That's good thinking. That's good thinking right there. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money saved right there. A lot of money.
That is what everybody has to do, is they have to check on what's available to them, the least expensive way that they can do it. Like for me, Amazon's good unless I get a ride out to a store for something else. I use Amazon because it brings them up the stairs because I live on second floor apartment. It's just like my 50 pounds of feed. I order through Chewy because they deliver it right up to my door upstairs.
Amazon will bring it up to where you are?
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's convenient for sure.
You have to. They'll do whatever's on your delivery instructions. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. That's good. That's good. I actually have to get going. I'm going to eat something because I'm definitely hungry, and I think this conversation has made me more hungry. So I'm going to get going, and I've got some stuff to do. I've got to have a talk with my wife, but I was happy I got here, and you folks have been super, super kind. Verna, thank you so much. You're awesome. I'm sorry about being late, and I'm sorry about the technical difficulties of getting started, but I'm just happy we got to hang out and chat. It's been fun.
You have a blessed night, and
me too.
Get hold of me when you want me. And sure. You got my number to get hold of me. And
for sure.
Think about the rant when we're going to have a rant.
Sure, that'll be awesome. Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I just again, thank you so much, Verna. You folks in the chat, thank you so much. It was nice to chat with you folks. Definitely learned a lot, and nice to meet you too, Agape. I mean, all you folks. I'm connected to. I was connected to some of you folks, but definitely not connected to some of you. And I will be connecting. I will be trying to show support. Please jump over to our channel. I'd like to see you folks. And sometimes what's easy for me, because I am a person and I do forget things, and I'm also busy. if you would be so kind, leave a comment, and a lot of times I'll follow the comment back to other people's channels to make sure I can show them support as well. And yeah, awesome to be here. I look forward to doing more stuff. Verna, I really am looking forward to kind of interviewing you and discussing what you do and how what you do can motivate other people in whatever situation
Mm.
they're in to do some of the stuff you're doing. I think that would be if we could just focus on that one specific talk, whether that's your live or if you jump on a live that I start. I would definitely like to do that. I would like to make a nice portion of a live stream to be focused on what you do and how other people can be resourceful in whatever their situations. I think that would be awesome.
Well, just get with me. You know how to reach me, and it would be a
Awesome. Will
pleasure.
do.
And
Will do.
I really want to thank you for being with us tonight. And you have a blessed night.
You're welcome. Have a blessed night. Take care, everybody.
Andy, what you might have to do is you might have to unsubscribe, then resubscribe and select all. Or just click the all button again so that shows that you redid it. Holistic Heritage Homestead. If Steve would so kindly drop the link. There you go. Thank you, Steve. That's my cuz. Well, you have to do what I said, Andy. You go to him and you go to notification, do the notification of selecting all again, and then it'll start you back up again. Um, YouTube has been messing up on a lot of things like that. I agree, because half the time I just glance at my email. I figured that, Andy. Now we'll go on for until the half hour mark, and then we're going to call it a night. Because I haven't ate yet tonight either. Kim, she's talking about from Colin's group. She subbed at Colin and hasn't been getting any notifications. Yeah, and everybody's been having that problem. Well, it's after 9 o'clock, so you don't have to shut the camera off. Give me a minute. Because tonight I got strawberries to put in the freezer, so I can put those in the freeze dryer tomorrow morning. That's okay, Andy. We'll just call you the Headless Horseman now. And I've got a refrigerator full of eggs that have to go through the freeze dryer. Well, you guys, I'll be right back. Nature's calling. Okay, I'm back. Oh, Nikki, which pickling recipe did you use? Are they hot and spicy or beady? Yeah, Andy wants to know what kind of pickled eggs you made too. Me, I'd rather put mine through the freeze dryer, and that way I'll be having eggs for quail eggs for a long time before I have to buy any. They don't last that long around here for some reason. Pickled quail eggs, that is. Well, that's because you don't make enough of them, TM. They're tangy, have garlic and red pepper flakes. Okay. No, Lucy's not going to be eating them all. Lucy won't be having egg treats after the quail are gone because I'm going to be freeze drying all my quail eggs that I got. I got a refrigerator full of quail eggs. I'm trying to freeze dry. Not really, Ed, because she'll end up getting some scrambled eggs when I make scrambled eggs. I always make enough for her to eat some too. And what's going to be sad is I'm going to have to go back to eating chicken eggs after this is done, and that's going downhill for me. Oh, so you're doing I can't remember his name. Kevin and Sarah's. You're doing Kevin's favorite recipe. Can I get no, not eating eggs. I won't do that because that'd be cutting into what he sells for his hatching eggs. I haven't told Zach about me getting rid of the quail yet. You guys were the first ones I told. I got a whole book on pickling recipes that you can get at myshire.com. Even PJ's peachy pickled eggs in that cookbook. Yeah, it's my allergy. It's my allergies, Andy. My breathing has gotten so bad from all the dander. And I knew I was allergic to feather dander, but I stood it with it for 5 years. So, well, we got 3 minutes to go, people. And I do not like pickled chicken eggs. Yuck. That would be expensive to get that far away. I think you can use pineapple to pickle eggs, yeah. But I think she used peaches in the book. Now I do have freeze dried pineapple that's spicy and it's really good. Well, you guys, it's time to go. Thank you for coming. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up and have a blessed and blessed day. And I'll see you guys again Saturday morning.